What is going on, guys? Dino Bam Bam here with the 10-7 MMA. Happy to be back in your lives with another Quick Picks. Now, if you're new to the channel, welcome. This is Quick Picks. What we do here is I give you a little bit about each fighter on this upcoming card. I give you my fight prediction. We move on to the next fight and we fly through it. We don't got no time for no goddamn fillers. It's quick, it's to the point, and we move on. But before we get into it, a little bit of filler, just a little bit right here. A little bit of house cleaning we got to do. We've been hinting at it for a while now, guys. But me and DS on Instagram have officially announced the UFC 319 Dricus du Plessis versus Khamzat Chimaev ticket giveaway. We bought 8 tickets to that fight. We are giving 2 tickets away. You'll be sitting right next to us at the fight, guys. We're giving them away. All you got to do is go follow us on Instagram, like that video, tag a friend, and then the most important thing is to come here and comment your Instagram username on any of our YouTube videos from this point to the end of the month. That's how the contest works. A lot of people are on Instagram, they're tagging their friends, they're not coming here and commenting anything. This is really what matters, is subscribing on YouTube, commenting your Instagram handle below. That's how we're going to pick the winner. So just saying, for those of you that are actually watching this, that actually give a shit, you're more inclined to win, right? This is free cheese. This is free money. We give you guys free bets every goddamn week with us and Harry from Pro Schmo Bets. We're giving you money. We're giving you free picks. This is how you get the tickets, and you're getting a massive advantage by watching these videos, because this is how it works. And I think most of those people are just tagging a friend on Instagram. They're, well, I hope I win. No, bro. This is how you win. But anywho, follow us on Instagram. Like and subscribe here on YouTube. Don't forget to comment your Instagram handle. And yeah, let's get into the first fight. There's going to be a hard cut here because I had to re-record this part, but we're getting into the first fight. Fatima Kline versus Melissa Martinez. Guys, Fatima Kline, absolute grinder, solid wrestler, heavy top control, not afraid to throw hands when the fight gets dirty. Once she gets on top, she is going to remain on top. She has great control. And the odds basically speak for themselves, right? Minus 1,200. At this point, Fatima Kline, one of the biggest and most popular female prospects there is in the entirety of MMA. I would say only honestly behind Dakota Ditcheva. Anywho, she is taking on Melissa Martinez, the opposite, right? A slick striker, great movement, constantly just circling the cage. Her and her brother fight very similarly. They're very defensive. Not to say that they're not exciting. I mean, they will attack when they have to, but my goodness, it's an annoying style to watch at times, right? It's just very defensive. Very just constantly backing away, popping a shot, backing away, popping a shot and backing away. I hate her. I hate her and her brother. I'm sorry. Don't come at me. It's an effective style. It ain't going to be effective versus Fatima Kline. She is a beast. I think she wins this fight round 2 TKO. I think she will get a takedown. She will catch up to Melissa Martinez and win via ground and pound. Next fight, we've got Mitch Ramirez, and he's taking on Beast Boy Mike Davis. Guys, Mike Davis, a boxer-wrestler hybrid, a very, very well-rounded fighter. And if you've been watching this show, you've been watching this channel for a long time, you know that I love me some Mike Davis. DS loves Mike Davis too. He is one of the most talented guys, skill for skill, in the entire UFC. He just lacks a couple things. Number 1, activity. Number 2, health. Mike Davis, a guy that we barely get to see. And yes, once in a while, you'll get a dud performance from him. But when he is going, the dude is an absolute monster, and again, the odds speak for themselves there. He's taking on Mitch Ramirez, a tough-ass guy, a former Dana White's Contender Series guy, aggressive finisher. He likes to throw big shots. 5 of his 8 wins are via KO, TKO. He's constantly pushing the pace. He's constantly looking for finishes. He doesn't have great grappling, and I think that's going to be the difference here. Mike Davis has really goddamn good grappling on top of the good striking and power that he has, and I think he's going to utilize the wrestling. So I think this fight plays out very similarly to the first fight. I will say both of the odds on these fights are absolutely bananas, right? Mike Davis should not be a minus 1050. Fatima Kline should not be a minus 1,200. That's absolutely ludicrous. I don't mind you sprinkling on the other guys if that's what you're inclined to do. I'm not doing it. I'm just telling you my picks. Now, next fight of the night, we've got another my boy, Kennedy Nzechukwu, and he's taking on little big bro, Walter Walker. Guys, Kennedy Nzechukwu moving up to heavyweight, obviously. He did that last time out, I believe. Big southpaw striker, heavy hitter, man. Lots of KOs on Kennedy's record. He has length. He has some good cardio. The thing that we always wonder with Kennedy Nzechukwu is that chin, right? Is it sus? I don't know if it's sus. Well, it's definitely sus. I just don't know that it's bad, right? Sometimes you'll see him take clean shots and he's fine. Then other times he gets hit on his guard and he's getting knocked out. Weird case, but anywho, he's taking on Walter Walker, a very well-rounded heavyweight, a guy that's been rounding out his game. Great grappling, 3 submission wins, heel hook wins on his record, 6 KOs. He's dangerous on the mat. He's good with the leg entanglements and all that. And to me, this is a very tricky fight to pick. Ultimately, first I was leaning Walter Walker. I am going to stay with Kennedy Nzechukwu. He is really big. He's long-bodied. He does have great power on the feet, and I think ultimately that'll be the difference. I don't see Walter Walker being able to take him down and hold him there. So ultimately, I'm going Kennedy. I guess I'm going to say decision win, which, no, you know what? I'm saying KO. I lied. KO, Kennedy Nzechukwu. Let's call it round 2, late, maybe early round 3. This fight is a coin flip, to be honest with you. The odds a little out of whack again for me. I think it should be closer to a pick'em than a minus 205 for Kennedy. So again, if you're so inclined, maybe you sprinkle on Walter Walker, but I like Kennedy Nzechukwu here by knockout. Moving on. We've got the return. Guys, I know we've all been waiting for this. It's been 2.5 goddamn years, okay? 2.5 years since the last time we've seen Lucky Lauren Murphy. But thank God she is back, okay, guys? She is back, and she is taking on Eduardo Moura. Crazy big odds on this card so far, huh? And that's going to continue as we move forward. But anywho, Lauren Murphy, as I mentioned, 2.5 years out of the cage. She's tough. She's gritty. She's been in there with some of the best fighters in the world in this division. She knows how to make fights dirty, but she's also very goddamn hittable. And at this point, she's not going to be as defensively sharp as you would want her to be. Not that she was ever, Floyd Mayweather in there, but 2.5 years out of the cage is going to make that a little worse. The volume's going to be a little bit lower. The reactions aren't going to be quite as sharp. The durability's starting to get chipped away after, well, it was starting to get chipped away while she was fighting 2.5 years ago. So I imagine now it's probably a little worse, but she's taking on Eduardo Moura, a very raw but aggressive fighter, comes out fast, hunts takedowns. She looks for finishes really goddamn early and tends to fade as fights get into the second and third round if she can't get the other girl out of there early. So this is kind of a weird fight. I don't think she finishes Lauren Murphy in the first 5 minutes. So I think she will slow down and ultimately not find herself a finish. But I do think she'll do enough in the first 8-9 minutes of this fight to just win those first 2 rounds. Maybe Murphy has a moment in the third, but I think it'll be too little too late at that point. Give me Eduardo Moura by decision. Just too fast, too aggressive for a ring-rusted Lauren Murphy. We move on. We have Jake Matthews, and he is taking on Chidi Bang Bang. Chidi Njokuani. Guys, Chidi Njokuani, another guy that's very dangerous early in fights. Extremely long fighter, pause. Very explosive, and he throws everything with knockout intentions. His striking's really goddamn clean when he's fresh, but again, as the fight starts to go on, you start to see some holes developing in his striking game, right? Those hands drop, the shots aren't as fast as they were early on, and once you get inside on him being such a long-bodied guy, that's kind of where his weakness is. He's taking on Jake Matthews, a veteran of the game who's not a very old guy, but he's been at the UFC for God knows how long. Not a flashy fighter, but he's goddamn reliable, a good wrestling, decent hands, solid fight IQ. He's the kind of guy that doesn't take a ton of risks, but he's willing to engage when he has to. And I think this is going to be a badass fight. I think this is a barn burner. I think Chidi's going to have some great moments early on, maybe win himself the first round, hurting Jake Matthews. But then I think as we go on, Jake Matthews is going to avoid some of that damage in the second round, start to implement his game plan, maybe holding Chidi Njokuani up against the cage, slowing the pace down, and ultimately winning a decision. So I'm going Jake Matthews, unanimous decision. Now this fight, guys, this is goddamn interesting. We've got Max Griffin and Chris Curtis. Now, I expected the odds to be flipped on this fight. I thought I was going to get Chris Curtis at dog prices. Not the case. We're getting Chris Curtis as a pretty goddamn sizable favorite. Let's start with him. Chris Curtis, absolute dog, guys. You know what the deal is. Southpaw boxer, great chin, always in your face, constantly moving forward. He spars every goddamn day with Sean Strickland, right? So he's kind of got a little bit of that style with him. One thing that we always talk about with Chris Curtis, that wrestling defense is so goddamn underrated, so good, so tough to take down, so tough to hold down if he is taken down. Chris Curtis is a guy that is going to move forward, and he is down to engage. He is absolutely down for a brawl, and he is facing Max Griffin. Max Griffin, a well-rounded veteran of the sport, solidly well-rounded. But, he can be inconsistent, right? He can be inconsistent. We've seen great performances from him. We've seen some very lackluster performances from him. He's going to throw some big shots. He's going to mix in the takedowns. There's nothing about Max Griffin's game to hate, there's just nothing really to love for me, you know? I think the fact that he is willing to kind of engage in wars is not going to be a good thing for him against Chris Curtis. I think this fight will be competitive early on. Again, as we move forward, and I sound like a broken record, I think Curtis is just going to start outlanding him, just being the more technical, clean fighter. I could see him getting a late finish, but again, ultimately, I will go decision. Max Griffin is a tough dude to get out of there. I promise the finishes are coming, guys, and it starts right here, okay? It starts right here. We've got Junior Tafa, and he's taking on Tokkos. You guys know I hate me some Junior Tafa. Just an asshole. But goddamn it, hey, the guy lost about 40 pounds. He's moving down to 205. He looks super goddamn lean, which is a very interesting thing to see out of a Tafa brother, because he does not look like a Tafa brother anymore. He looks like a guy that's in some good goddamn shape. Anyways, he's a savage. You guys know the deal with these Tafas. Heavy hands, they come forward, they're trying to clip you early and get out of there. They get paid by the fight, not by the round, not by the minute. He's not here for a long time. He's here for a good time, that kind of thing, right? Even with his weight loss, guys, I worry about the cardio of Junior Tafa. You have to worry about it until you see that it's better. Notoriously a guy that if he doesn't get you out of there in the first round, just like his bigger, larger brother, they're going to fade. They're going to fade, and it is what it is. He's taking on Tokkos, a grappler, guys, through and through, just a heavy grappler. If he can get it onto the mat, he's got solid control. He's got good submission skills. His striking, not all there, and definitely he's not going to want to stand there and strike with Junior Tafa, a guy so goddamn credentialed. Unfortunately, I just don't think Tokkos is long for the UFC. This may be the final fight on his contract, and while I don't trust in Junior Tafa, I do have to pick him here, so I'm going Junior Tafa round 1 KO. Unless Tokkos can land himself a takedown early and quickly drain the gas tank of Junior Tafa, which may only take 3-4 minutes of control time in the first round. He could win the fight if he does that. I just can't trust that he does. So give me Junior Tafa. Give me that power that I believe is truly a problem. I think he gets a round 1 KO. Moving on, we've got Vitor Petrino. This dude is absolutely yoked, guys. He's always been yoked. If you look at his pictures that we've been seeing on the photo shoots and on Instagram, this dude's got to be on the roids. He's got to be on the juice. No question about it. He's taking on former football player, former Jacksonville Jaguar, Duval County, Austin Lane. Vitor Petrino, guys, a killer. Just explosive, powerful. He lets his hands go. People drop. He's just massive. He is big. He's moved up to heavyweight at this point. I think his speed is still going to be there. The shot selection's awesome. He's got like really twitchy, explosive movements. And that is a terrible thing for Austin Lane because as we've seen, Austin Lane is just kind of there in the UFC's heavyweight division to be knocked out by guys. And this is a guy that, you know, it's like the prototypical guy to knock Austin Lane out. Austin Lane's huge. He's athletic. He has some power of his own. He's got some good grappling. He's just not going to beat Vitor Petrino unless he clips him, and I don't see it. So give me Vitor Petrino. Again, I think we get back-to-back KOs round 1 for the big boys. He's going to land and put Austin Lane out, and this might be the last time we see Austin Lane in the UFC octagon. Moving on. Nate the Train, baby. At home. Nate the Train in Tennessee, and he's taking on the Frenchman, Morgan Charriere. Guys, Nate Landwehr, absolutely super goddamn entertaining. Just a fun-ass fighter to watch, and now he's going to be fighting in his home state, in basically his home city. It's going to be amazing. So, yeah, he brings relentless pressure, constant volume, just loves when the crowd gets behind him, and the crowd is going to 1,000% be behind Nate the Train in this one. He's not nearly as polished as Morgan Charriere is as a striker. I don't think really there's a part of his game besides just the grit and the determination that is better than Morgan Charriere, but that might be enough fighting in front of his home crowd. So again, Morgan Charriere, a very clean striker, very good technique, a guy that I still think is a little bit green, even though he's a little older than we think he is, a guy that isn't as fully developed, but once those skills fully do develop, I think Morgan Charriere is really a problem. I've been flipping on this one all goddamn day. I've been going Morgan Charriere because I just do believe he is the better fighter, but I could totally see Nate the Train at home winning this fight, and even if it's close, maybe a controversial decision by the judges going for the hometown guy. It seems like we get that all the time in the UFC. We just never get it in the United States. So ultimately, I'm going Morgan Charriere. I'll be rooting for Nate Landwehr. I would not be surprised at all if Nate Landwehr wins this fight, especially if he wins it by decision. I will be sprinkling on the Nate Landwehr money line, just a little bit of personal info, because I do think there's a good shot there. But ultimately, I'm going Morgan Charriere by decision. That's the official pick. Now, this really bothers me, guys. This really bothers me because I love me some Calvin Kattar. If you've been a fan of the UFC these last 6, 7, 8 years, you love Calvin Kattar. You know what's up, man. He's been at the top of the division for so goddamn long, and we are seeing that decline, guys. We are seeing the decline. It seems like now more than ever, we are for sure in a new era of MMA, especially after what happened 2 weekends ago with Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira. But anyways, guys, Calvin Kattar, absolute dog, super tough, high volume. He's going to stand in the pocket and trade. He will stand there and take an ass whooping like nobody's business and not give up on himself. We've never seen more of that than in the Max Holloway fight, right? That is the number one example of a guy that is not willing to go, a guy that's too tough for his own goddamn good. But he's aging. He's aging, and he's taking on Steve Garcia. Steve Garcia, slick, guys, fast hands, sharp counters, doesn't get hit very much. He's way more efficient than Calvin Kattar. He's younger than Calvin Kattar. All of his wins are by finish, and he's just way fresher physically, right? He's less used than Calvin Kattar. So I have to go Steve Garcia. While I don't think he finishes Calvin Kattar, I think that's next to impossible at this point. But I do think he wins a decision. I think Calvin Kattar is going to make it gritty for as long as he can, but Steve Garcia is just going to start picking him apart and being that fresher, younger, more in his prime fighter. So give me Steve Garcia by decision. Moving on to the co-main event of the evening, and we've got Wonder Boy Stephen Thompson. Speaking of old, right? Wonder Boy Stephen Thompson, the oldest man on the UFC roster, and he's taking on Gabriel Bonfim. Guys, Gabriel Bonfim's a problem. He's young, he's aggressive, and if he gets you down, you are absolutely screwed. This guy is going to stick to you like glue. His jiu-jitsu is absolutely nasty. His boxing is nasty. When he gets on top of you, he's not just laying there. He's not a lay and pray guy. He is constantly, quickly looking for submissions. And Harry hit me up from Pro Schmo Bets. Shout out Harry. You guys should go follow him on Instagram at pro.schmo.bets. But Harry's like, Gabriel Bonfim's winning this fight by submission. I don't doubt it, guys. I don't doubt it. But anyways, he's taking on Stephen Wonderboy. Just an absolute legend of the sport. I don't care if people say that's, hyperbole. It's a little too much for Wonderboy. Wonderboy's a legend, guys. Karate style fighter. Absolutely just a master of his craft. It's very hard to deal with. He's a long-bodied fighter. He fights with that karate style that it's weird angles, right? And a lot of guys have trouble with that, especially if they're more traditional strikers, boxers or kickboxers. It's tough to deal with. But anywho, if you don't know how to deal with that, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is picking you apart. But he is 42, 43 years old now, something like that. And the takedown defense has always been pretty good. You got to imagine that it's starting to fade a little bit, right? At 42, 43 years old, how much are you really training takedown defense? How committed is Stephen Wonderboy Thompson to doing that, especially after getting knocked out so bad last time out? If this fight gets to the ground, I don't see Wonderboy surviving at all. I'm going to be optimistic and say that he does not get taken down, or if he does, he stays safe on the cage. He was able to stay safe with Gilbert Burns. He was able to stay safe with Bilal Muhammad. Maybe he's able to stay safe with Gabriel Bonfim, or maybe this guy is just that next level of submission threat. I don't know. So I don't mind Harry's submission pick. I'm going Bonfim by decision. I just think Wonderboy has some moments early on that make Bonfim a little hesitant, and as he's hesitant, there's it's going to be less likely that he finds himself a finish. So give me Bonfim by decision. I could see Wonderboy winning it, guys, but you just got to take the youth, right? One thing I will say, I would not be shocked if Stephen Wonderboy Thompson wins this fight after saying all that. And I am picking Gabriel Bonfim. Let's not forget he was in there last time with Joaquin Buckley. And while he did lose that fight and he ended up getting knocked out, he was in that fight until he wasn't, right? Until he did get hit with that big shot. So never count out Wonderboy. But anyways, guys, moving on to the main event of the evening. We got the Black Beast. All that shit, right? Derek Lewis. And he's taking on Tyson Teixeira, the big-ass dude with the spider tattoo, all right? We talked about this fight like 4 weeks ago, 5-6 weeks ago, something like that. If you guys were watching, it was in one of the videos with Harry. I believe it was on the Merab and Sean O'Malley 2 card. We talked about it, and I believe Dino and Harry at that point said to me that they were taking Derek Lewis in this fight. And if you watch it, I was like, I'm taking Teixeira, and they just kind of got like glossed over. And I feel like they thought I was absolutely crazy for taking Tyson Teixeira. Now the odds are out, and I feel like, they go with what I was saying. But anyways, Derek Lewis, guys, we know what Derek Lewis is, right? He is an absolutely massive human being. He just sits back and wings shots. He's a very defensive fighter, and he's very defensively responsible when he fights somebody with power. We saw it in the Francis Ngannou fight. We even saw it way back in the Volkov fight, right? Like, he's going to respect you. If you have power, he's just going to stay back and he's going to wait for you and he's going to intimidate you. If you come in, this big overhand right is cocked and ready to go, but just stay the hell away from me and nothing's coming your way. That's what happens when he faces a power puncher. Also, lately in Derek Lewis's career, there's been this problem of wanting to get out of there a little bit early, right? I don't know how committed Derek Lewis is at this point. Sometimes it feels like he's just showing up to get himself a check. And if the fight gets tough, he's looking for an exit. I know that's a shitty thing to say about the UFC's all-time knockout leader. I'm just giving it to you guys the way that I see it. Maybe I'm wrong. He's taking on Tyson Teixeira, a guy that I'm not totally sold on, to be honest with you. He looks the part, right? He is massive as hell for the division. He's young. He's undefeated. All of his fights are by finish. He hasn't really been tested yet, though. And he is facing Derek Lewis, which will be the biggest name and the biggest test on his young, in his young career. But at this point, how much of a test is Derek Lewis? You see plus 225 on Derek Lewis. You're going to get like plus 400 on Derek Lewis by knockout. So it's something you always want to sprinkle. And it just seems like as of late, it's not hitting as much unless he's fighting a guy like Marcus Rogerio de Lima or that other fucking Brazilian guy that he knocked out in the 4th round. Guys that are grapplers, right? Tyson Teixeira, not a grappler. He is a massive power puncher. So that's the reason I'm going Teixeira. I'm going Tyson Teixeira round 1 KO. I think he's too young. He's too aggressive. He's too fast. And unless Derek Lewis catches him really early in this fight, Derek Lewis is going to get hit with a couple shots, and he's going to want a way out of there. I think he's going to get overwhelmed, and he's going to get folded pretty quickly. And again, I hope I'm wrong because I am a massive Derek Lewis fan, but I'm going Teixeira round 1 KO. Guys, so that was quick picks. See, that was fast as hell. 20 minutes, something like that. That's it. That's all we got. So a couple things before we go. Again, remember, UFC 319, we are giving away a pair of tickets. All you have to do is do like the thing at the bottom says and follow us on Instagram at D107MMA. Then you got to make sure you're subbed here on YouTube. Hit the little subscribe button. And number 3, on any one of our YouTube videos moving forward from here to the end of the month, comment your username. There are so many people that are commenting on Instagram. They're commenting their name on there or they're tagging their friends on there. And it's like, great. But the main thing is doing it here on YouTube. So if you're one of the few people that's still watching to this point, I'm giving you some free cheese right here. Your chances are exorbitantly higher, if that's even a goddamn word, okay? All you got to do is just comment your Instagram username here. That's the main point of the contest, and a lot of these fucking guys are missing it. So do that. Do that, okay? Comment your shit underneath one of our videos or a bunch of our, whatever you want, till the end of the month. Then we will be picking a winner. Again, we will sit down next to you. We'll have a couple drinks, a couple two-tree brewskis with me and DS. Anyways, guys, next weekend, we've got Shine Bright Like a Diamond, Dustin Poirier's retirement fight. He's taking on Max Holloway. That's an absolute banger. But anyways, we'll leave that for next week. Guys, Dino Bam Bam, D107 MMA. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.